Vipa say, welcome back to another video. In this one, I'll be taking you guys through the top things to consider when buying a cooker here in Kenya. I know there are very many things that you might want to consider, but today we'll go over the most important things that once you go through this checklist, at the end of the day, you'll be happy with your purchase and you won't have to spend a lot of time about thinking about too many things. So without wasting any more time, let's begin. The first thing that you need to consider when buying a cooker here in Kenya is your budget. Cookers here in Kenya, they range anywhere from 1,000 and something shillings all the way to 120,000 shillings. So just depending on how much you want to spend, set a realistic figure. A cooker is something that most people will buy for the long term. So if you can save or you need to save, I highly recommend. It's advisable you have as much of a budget as you can when it comes to getting a cooker. That way, you'll guarantee yourself to get something that will last you for quite a long time. So the second thing that you need to consider after you determine your budget is the size. If you are on a larger budget, you'll definitely be able to get something that has a larger size. And the key thing when it comes to the size is to consider the number of burners that you can comfortably live with. If you do a lot of cooking, you might be better served with a 6-burner, a cooker that has 6 burners. So that's an easy way of determining a cooker that will satisfy your needs. For most people, a 4-burner is more than enough. This is an example of a 4-burner. If you're on a larger budget, just consider if you want something big or if you want something more compact. So the next thing to consider after you've determined your budget and the size that you want to go for is the fuel type. Now when it comes to the fuel type, most cookers here in Kenya, they have the option of gas and electric. So this one here has 3 gas burners and 1 electric burner. Just left it. The electric burner is the plate at the far end. Most cookers here in Kenya, you can choose between those two. I recommend you definitely go with a combination of both the electric and the gas burners for obvious reasons. Just in case the gas runs out, you can use the electric burner. And yeah, that is what I recommend. The next thing to consider once you've determined the fuel type that you are comfortable with is the additional features that cooker comes with. So the key things when it comes to additional features is 1, auto ignition. If you're getting a gas burner, I recommend you make sure it has an auto ignition feature, and that auto ignition feature should be the knob auto ignition. So I'll show you using this cooker. It has the knob auto ignition, and how that works is you just press in the knob and it activates that auto ignition, and then you turn. So once you turn, it auto ignites the gas and you don't have to use a matchstick or anything. Other gas burners come with the push button. So at the side you might be having a button that you need to push, and then is when you can twist the knob and the gas comes on. And those ones are usually more affordable than these ones, but if you're on a larger budget, definitely just look out for that feature. And something else is a timer for the oven. So there are some affordable cookers, they do not come with a timer for the oven. And if you don't have a timer for the oven, that makes tasks like baking and grilling a bit tricky. A timer makes your life very easy, and I recommend you consider a cooker that has a timer. And for the oven, you have the option of getting an oven that is a gas oven or an electric oven. I recommend you go with an electric oven because it's much easier to control, much more than the gas oven. But if you're on a lower budget, you might find that what you will have at your disposal is only gas options. So they're still usable. They're not the best, but they're still usable. Just make sure that you keep that in mind and you're not shocked with Sustuke when you get the cooker. Once you consider those things and any other additional feature that the cooker might come with, e.g. a turn spit. A turn spit is a rotisserie. It's the one that takes the chicken around. Another thing that you have to consider is the finishing. So this one has a stainless steel finishing and it's 9 years old, and as you can see, it's looking at least still quite new. The more premium the finish, stainless steel is one of those premium finishes. They will be more expensive than, let's say, another cooker that is not stainless steel, if it's just white or black. So just keep that in mind. If you want a premium finish like stainless steel, you need to pay more, and it's presented as an additional feature in most cooker models. So the last thing that you need to consider after considering your budget, the size, the fuel type, all additional features that the cooker might come with, more is always better. The last thing that you need to consider is how the cooker will be delivered. So if you're buying it from the supermarket, if you have your own means of transport, that won't be an issue. But if you don't have your own means of transport, you might need it to be delivered. So that's something that you need to keep in mind. Most retailers, they offer delivery options, which they will charge you a bit more for. Just make sure you keep that in mind. And if you're buying a cooker online, also just make sure you have somebody at home in case if you are away, the cooker still gets delivered and the person makes sure that the cooker is in working condition. And you also have to consider that the means of transport that you use is also treating the cooker as a fragile product, because they're designed to be placed somewhere stationary. They're not designed to be moved around. So make sure that they're handled with care and they're not carelessly handled, because they can easily break at that point of delivery. So just make sure that the delivery is handled as carefully as possible. I'll quickly go over those things that you need to consider again. Number one, your budget. Your budget goes hand in hand with the second thing, which is the size. Number three is the fuel type. Once you determine that the size you're comfortable with, you can either go with gas or electric. I recommend combining both electric and gas. Then the other thing you need to consider is the additional features. Go with something that has as many additional features as possible, and that might mean that you spend more, but bare minimum auto ignition for each knob, and a timer for the oven, and an electric oven. And the last thing that you need to consider is the delivery options. If you are looking for a cooker, I have various suggestions in the description below, and they can be delivered to you online. And I will catch you guys in the next one. If you like the video, subscribe, and bye for now.